college. Oh, hi.
Hi, everybody. It's not Inside Scoop with Sue. Let me just do a quick change.
Could it be?
It could be, but it's not. Fridays with Sue.
How is your hair so curly? Sue, how do you get your teeth so white?
I don't get it.
I'm just saying it's like inside scoop. Like I'm getting all the inside scoop about Sue.
Yeah, so that's not what it means. It means I get the inside scoop from other people. So just to be clear,
to inside scoop about Sue.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, here we are. It turned from Inside Scoop with Sue to Fridays with Sue and Steph in a blink.
I know.
Like it does every week.
It's like, what was the one?
I Dream of Jeannie. That, yeah. I don't know why. Is that what she did? Or no, that was Bewitched.
Bewitched. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where she.
Yeah. For anybody here who remembers that time of life.
Yeah,
so I have sent 5 kids to college. True. And we are doing this really big college program. And so Steph and I are Steph sent 2 to college and gone through the process this year. So you're closest to the insanity of what does college look like. But I can share in the insanity, at least for some of my experiences. My first, for sure. I had so much riding on that outcome, which was entirely unhealthy for both me and my kid.
Did you know you had? Wait, I have a question because you have said that. Did she know you had a lot riding on
that? I'd have to ask her because I'm not usually good at hiding things.
Mm-hmm.
If I thought it was unhealthy, I would try to keep it to myself, but I don't know if I had the awareness. The biggest moment where I couldn't breathe was the day the results were coming out. And so that was a moment where I realized I am so overly invested in this outcome. Like I couldn't picture what we would tell people if she didn't get in. Yeah. And then I soon recovered from that insanity and realized that like the next day, it's like anything. Like I remember one time where we were intentionally left off a wedding list for a reason we never knew and still don't know. But it was like, it was like everyone kept saying, we'll see you tomorrow. And we were like, we're not invited. What do you mean you're not invited? It was so weird. And I just kept thinking like Monday, it will not matter. Like right now it feels super awkward, but Monday when the wedding's over, no one will be asking or talking and it will be over. And that's what college acceptance is. Like the day after, like my youngest, he didn't get his dream choice, which by the way, we were thrilled. It was way too expensive for us.
You remember that?
Yeah. But he wasn't thrilled. And, but it was, he had like, I don't know, 24 hours of woe is me. And then jumped into like, how do I embrace my new reality? And anyway, I wanted this anyway. Like he was able to kind of go, this is really what I wanted anyway. So, our kids do okay. What was your experience?
So it's funny. I was just sitting here and I hadn't realized it till just now. So when the boys went through, I wasn't so, I don't know. I don't feel like I was so, I wasn't like caught up on you also had kids apply early decision. And that's where I was going with this conversation. So for them, there were so many others in the mix, if you will. I think that changes the scenario. I think it changes the scenario because you can't get hooked into one when they're applying to a bunch. So yeah, I guess you could say like, I hope they get into this one. I hope they get into that one. But I think the early decision adds a different layer. And so what I was going to say is, so Lane, our last one, applied early decision this year. I really wasn't thinking much. I didn't think I was thinking much about it. I probably was. And I was in the basement, I remember. And I was FaceTiming with some girlfriends. It was a Friday at like 5:00. And they're like, let's FaceTime. We'll do like a virtual happy hour. It's during the pandemic. It was in December. So we're all FaceTiming and I can see when my texts come up on my screen. So we're on Zoom and all of a sudden I see a thing that comes up from Lane and says, I just got an email from Rochester. I can't open it. And I was like, oh my God. And I text in the chat to the girls, oh my God, Lane just got, I'm like, should I sit down here? So I text her back. I'm like, do you want me up there? Do you want me, And she was on a call for something she's involved in. So she was like, I'm on my Zoom. I'm not checking, whatever. So I'm sitting downstairs and all of a sudden I hear like but couldn't interpret the, right? So I fall towards the steps and I'm like, all of a sudden processing, right? Like, wait, was it good? Was it bad? What's it going to be like? How is she? And I get upstairs. I walk in the family room. She's got her face covered and she's crying again. Right? Not sure. And then I hear her, and she chatted with a friend so she could open it while she was on with the friend. And she's like, oh my God, I got in, like, and I could hear it. And I thought, wow. Like, and she even said, she's like, I didn't realize how much I wanted that. And I was like, yeah. I'm not sure I realized how much she wanted that. And I don't even know. I moved so quickly I remember flying up the stairs and thinking, okay, what am I going to say when she doesn't get in? Like, my head went to that side, because it's easy to know what you're going to say when they got in. But my head went right to oh God, what would I want to hear? And it happened so quickly, It's a crazy thing.
It is.
I felt so different. That felt so different in that it was quick, but it felt really different.
I'm not sure that the early decision was the issue, because if your kid has a dream place, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But I lived through every experience, really, seriously, because we did this, not every, obviously someone can put in the comments that their experience is different. Please do. But so that was my oldest, where like the outcome was so important to me, because I didn't know what I would say to people if everyone knew this was going on. It was like going for your driver's license and then not getting it, which in fact happened to some of my kids. And then you face everybody with like, it's like those kids who do the reveal with all their family around. And like, I mean, I gotta assume it's fake, because would you really want to open it?
No, I don't.
Anyway, so I have kids, like one had gotten into a school that they were perfectly happy to go to. So when do you start applying? Oh, interesting. So senior year, you get ready beforehand. You get everything in place. In fact, Tammy, you might want to join us, because we have this unbelievable program. I'm going to put the link here. It's 8 weeks of getting all of answers to all those kind of questions. And so 16 is perfect. It's really a perfect time to start thinking and talking, lining up your, it is a time to start lining up, having your kids build relationships with teachers so that they can identify somebody to write a recommendation. So this program is going to give you all the information you want, and probably like would have changed my experience with my kids, all of them. But so one of my kids got in, not early decision, but early, heard from a school that was top of list. And so limited the next round to only the dreams. Well, on the day that those results came out, all of those dreams were squashed. And so that day didn't matter to me at all, because I was already seeing this child at the school that they were happy to go to. But for that kid, it was more rejection than like, that kid could almost bear. And then the next kid got into the school they wanted to go to very early. And my reaction was, wow, I can't believe you got in. That was not a good reaction. Anyway, so I've done them all. I've done them all. Yeah. And they all, for various reasons, made where they were the best place for them.
Yeah. So
we can actually say with some of the kids, like, the place you dreamt of going wasn't really the right place for what you wanted to do in your career. Yeah. But you don't know. And so I guess, I think a lot of what we're going to be talking about in this program is like not doing that insanity that I did of like seeing only one place for my kid. Wow. Egypti says her 8th grader has already received a letter from a university. That's early.
That is early.
I'm talking to her about smart choices. Brilliant. That is brilliant.
That is great. And what's funny though? So someone said to us, Sue, and I can't, I have to think who it was. And they were talking about how long you want the college process to last. And they said, it ends like basically spring of senior year. So you have to make a conscious decision about how long you want it to go. So the ending is, I guess I have to do it opposite on the screen. You know the ending is here. Am I seeing it? Is that on my right, Sue? Whatever. So
that's a question I can't answer, because I'm seeing you the same way you're seeing you.
Right. So it can either the process, you can either shorten it or whichever way I'm supposed to do this. So like if you started in 9th grade, it's still ending in 12th grade. So I think it depends on how you feel about getting information. Now, I think Sue and I would both argue information is good. making yourself nuts, not so good. So I think some of it is like how the rate at which you can take in information and how you feel about it. I would make the argument like it's good to hear little bits as you go and to start, like who just, they had the 8th grader, like, yeah, you could hear about what the college process sounds like. And I think that can be okay. But should you start touring colleges this year? Probably not, you know?
I think the biggest reason for getting information is I've had people say to me in 10th, when their firstborn is in 10th grade, and they say, we haven't done anything yet, and I feel good about it, but I'm scared because everybody else is doing something. So it's like you can set your own intention about how not crazy you want to be, but the world around you can be going crazy. And when you have more information, you can stick to, like, this is our family's approach to college.
Yes.
And we don't have to be swayed by the panic around us.
That's
or
well
you're
said,
somebody
too.
Well, the alternative is you're somebody who really does like to jump on things early because that's what gives you peace of mind.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of has to figure out who they are in the story, but doing nothing, it often, at least for me, I know it breeds this kind of it's like the anxiety is just hovering there, and all it takes is someone to kind of tell me something, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm late. We overlooked that. We didn't do it. So, when I know, it's kind of like with each kid, I got smarter, so my reaction was better. We're trying to help you not have to have a firstborn go through the experience. That's the goal.
So true.
Yeah.
It is so true. That's why I always say, it's unfortunate that you have to have a firstborn to get a secondborn, but it does kind of work that way. But yes, that is well said. And I think that it's the knowledge, and I think I love what you just said, Sue, about our family's approach. I got accused. You can't win, is what I'll say, though. Like, I got accused by our thirdborn of, well, you think every school's a good school. Because I overcompensated. So every school that came up, I would say things like, oh yeah, that's a great school. They have a great program for this. And they have a great, we do know a lot because of what we do for a living. But I do believe that. I do believe it's what you said. Like, each kid they made of that experience in that college, what they were going to make of it and owned it. And I think I know for our family, the message was about, you're like, I remember when Lane was applying early and she said, do you think this is a good decision? And I said, well, here's what I'll tell you. If we thought it was a bad decision or the wrong decision, we would be trying to talk to you about not doing it. And ultimately it would come down to you. I'm like, but what if the opposite of that question is, will I only be happy at that school? The answer is emphatically no. You will be happy wherever it ends up. You know what I mean? So I think there is that messaging and figuring out what.
I have one kid who said where she went, she was as happy or unhappy as she would have been anywhere. So so your kid college might not be the highlight of their life.
Yeah.
But one of the things is that because your kid accuses you of something doesn't mean it's not the best thing to say to them. So telling your kid there's more than one place to go, and that they could be happy in multiple places is the right messaging, because we have no control over that outcome, but your kid might not thank you for it.
Yes. Oh, I love that she's saving. Wait, you got to put that up, Sue.
Okay, Christina, we're going to share your comment.
And Tam has a question too, I just thought.
My 6th grade daughter is very focused on college. She already wants to open a savings account. Wow, that's responsible. To help her save for it, plans to do dual enrollment throughout high school. She has already made straight A's and has always been a very detailed planner. Sometimes it drives me absolutely crazy, but I'm still so stinking proud of her.
Christina, would she like to speak at our event? Your 6th grader next week. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, Tammy, we can't advise you on that. That's very much for your family when you're dealing with it to decide. There are many people that go that option. It is a definite money saver. There are some issues that you have to worry about, which is, will the credit transfer? And there are, I think they're called articulation agreements between some community colleges and then 4-year colleges. So you'd want to look in, well, we're going to talk about it in our program, but also you'd want to look in to make sure that your community college has an agreement with the school that your kid wants to go to afterwards. Otherwise, those 2 years, it may be a challenge to get credit for that time at the community college.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kimberly says, I think it depends on the child personality situation. I'll share it up here. Do they need time to grow up or figure things out? Are there financial concerns? Community college can be a great option for some kids. Absolutely, Kimberly. Thank you so much for clarifying that. I did not touch on that, and it is 100% true. In fact, it may be the end stop for you. It may be exactly what your kid needs. So, but I'll put out there, I've done it 5 times. I'm not the expert. We are bringing the very best experts on to answer all these questions. So consider signing up. It's really, we have an embarrassment of riches in our experts. They are really the very best. Let's see what this question is. Dina wants to know, do they have to know their major before they pick a school these days? Back when I went, you had until sophomore year. Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it depends on the college, right? So some make you apply. I know Lane just went through it. So you're applying into a particular school. And again, that's going to be each college, and our experts will talk about it, but each college, you have to look at each one. And it's funny. I remember that being, here's an interesting, I think this is an interesting tidbit for parents. So we really talk a lot to the kids, I think at your teen and at the Silverman House about you want to give them independence in this process. But the reality is they haven't gone through it before. And I remember sitting down with each kid and saying, these are all going to look different. Let's take a few and let me show you what I mean. And like looking exactly what you're asking about, like, okay, do I have to apply specifically into this program in this college? And there's also nuances. I know, like I have seen, like some schools, it's so hard to get into engineering. And then like some kids will apply through a different door and then you can change majors. Some, like I remember one of my friends, their kid was deciding between our state school and another state school. And the question was, he was not accepted into that school's business program. And he thought, well, you know what, I'm going to go there and I'll just transfer my sophomore year. So he was looking at colleges. He went to visit a kid at that other school. Ironically, when he was there, that kid had just applied into the business school there and got accepted. And my friend's kid said to him, oh my God, that's so great. Aren't you so happy? And he said, I am happy and I'm relieved. But boy, did it stress me my freshman year because I felt like all I could do was keep proving myself so that I could try and do the best I could to get myself into so he felt like it really jaded his freshman experience. I thought, wow, what an interesting, and that informed my friend's kid's decision. He's like, I don't think I want to live that way my freshman year.
And like, wow. Also, one of our sponsors is Asvab, and they actually have a test for your kid to take to identify their interests, which is an important thing. Like, our jobs and careers can change over time. Majors change in college, but what we're drawn to and what we enjoy probably has a pattern throughout our lives. And so for kids who haven't really identified what floats their boat, so these tests are great because they'll see like their interest and what they'll pick over something else can give them some insight to what maybe they would want to major in. So ASVAB, you can check it out online. That's administered through your school, but you can request that your school opt into it. And there's certainly other tests that will help your kid. Your school may be doing something already. They may already be administering ASVAB, but that's one of the ways to help. Even if your kid doesn't go to college, knowing precisely what they want, it'll help pick the right school for them because they may end up at a school that doesn't have the thing that they're really passionate about.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking at these. I'm just glancing at the questions again in our chat and thinking, wow, it just shows you just the range and where people's heads are, and there's so much to learn. There's just so much, but it's exciting. It's an exciting time, and there's a lot of good information. And you should definitely sign up for the college event if you haven't already.
So everyone, thank you for being here with us, and we'll see you next Friday. Or in an hour, whichever comes faster.
Exactly. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye, everybody.